Guys, imagine this. Picture Beijing's massive Tiananmen Square, but instead of tourists with cameras, you've got tens of thousands of troops marching in perfect formation, while hypersonic missiles, weapons that travel at 5 times the speed of sound, roll past on massive transporters. We're talking about weapons so advanced, they can strike targets thousands of miles away in minutes, not hours. And here's the kicker. Some of these weapons have never been seen in public before. China just announced they're throwing the military parade of the century on September 3rd, and it's not just about commemorating World War II's end 80 years ago. This is Xi Jinping sending a very clear message to the world about China's military capabilities in 2025. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into what this parade really means for global power dynamics and why military analysts around the world are watching this event like hawks. So here's what we know is coming to Beijing streets next month. We're talking about hundreds of aircraft, fighter jets screaming overhead in tight formations, strategic bombers that can carry payloads across continents, and drones that represent the future of warfare. But the real showstoppers are going to be rolling on the ground. From a military perspective, this appears to be China's most comprehensive display of advanced weaponry to date. We're expecting to see precision strike weapons that can travel at Mach 5. That's over 3,800 miles per hour, guys. To put that in perspective, if one of these hypersonic missiles launched from Beijing, it could theoretically reach Tokyo in under 15 minutes. That's barely enough time to finish your morning coffee. The timing here is fascinating from a tactical standpoint. September 3rd marks exactly 80 years since Japan's surrender ended World War II. But military observers might argue that the real audience isn't the history books, it's the current geopolitical landscape. When you stage a parade of this magnitude, you're not just celebrating the past, you're making a statement about the present and future. Now, imagine this scenario. You're a military attaché from a foreign embassy in Beijing, and you're watching these never-before-seen weapons systems roll past. Your job is to assess capabilities, identify new threats, and report back to your government. Every camera angle, every weapon system, every formation detail becomes intelligence gold. That's exactly what's happening right now, as dozens of countries prepare their analysis teams for this event. But here's where it gets really interesting. Who's going to be in the VIP stands watching all this unfold? Putin is expected to be there. Think about that for a moment, guys. The Russian president, in the middle of ongoing global tensions, making the trip to Beijing to watch China flex its military muscle. From a strategic standpoint, this suggests something significant about the current state of the Russia-China partnership. Based on available information, this isn't just about historical commemoration, it's about modern alliance signaling. When world leaders choose to attend military parades, especially during tense geopolitical periods, they're making statements about whose side they're on. The guest list for this parade is going to be analyzed by intelligence agencies worldwide because it's essentially a real-time map of China's current diplomatic relationships. Now, let's compare this to China's last major World War II parade in 2015. Back then, the world was different. The military technologies on display were impressive, but largely conventional. The geopolitical landscape was more stable. Fast forward to 2025, and we're looking at a completely transformed strategic environment. Military observers might argue that the decade between parades has seen the most rapid advancement in Chinese military capabilities in modern history. We're talking about the development of anti-ship weapons specifically designed to challenge naval supremacy, early warning aircraft that can detect threats hundreds of miles away, and drone technology that's revolutionizing how modern conflicts are fought. But here's the question that's keeping defense analysts up at night. Is this just for show, or are we witnessing a preview of capabilities that could reshape global military balance? Let's break down what we're actually looking at here, because each weapon system tells a story. Those hypersonic missiles I mentioned? From a technical standpoint, these represent a game-changing technology. Traditional missile defense systems are designed to intercept projectiles following predictable ballistic trajectories. Hypersonic weapons, however, can maneuver during flight, making them incredibly difficult to track and even harder to intercept. Now, imagine you're planning coastal defense for an island nation in the Pacific. Suddenly, the traditional calculations about response time and interception capabilities go out the window. These weapons compress decision-making timelines to mere minutes, fundamentally altering strategic planning. The anti-ship weapons being showcased deserve special attention. Military observers have noted that modern naval warfare increasingly revolves around who can strike first at longer ranges. If you can't get close enough to use your weapons, having the most advanced ships doesn't matter. These land-based anti-ship systems can potentially create what strategists call area denial, essentially making certain ocean areas too dangerous for opposing naval forces to operate in. But here's where it gets really fascinating from a tactical perspective: the integration of all these systems. We're not just looking at individual weapons, we're looking at a comprehensive military ecosystem. Those early warning aircraft can detect targets, the precision strike weapons can engage them, and the drones can provide real-time battle damage assessment. It's like watching the components of a grand strategy come together in real time. The question military analysts are asking is how much of this is actual operational capability versus demonstration models designed for psychological impact. Here's the thing, guys. This parade isn't happening in a vacuum. We're looking at this event through the lens of current global tensions, ongoing territorial disputes, and shifting power balances across multiple regions. From a strategic standpoint, this appears to be China's way of communicating capabilities without having to prove them in actual conflict. Military doctrine suggests that the most effective weapon is often the one you never have to use. By publicly displaying advanced capabilities, China might be attempting what strategists call deterrence through demonstration. The message seems to be, look what we can do, so maybe reconsider your strategic calculations. But there's another layer to consider. Think about the domestic audience watching this parade. For Chinese citizens, this isn't just about international messaging. It's about national pride and confidence in their military's ability to protect the homeland. From a psychological operations perspective, these displays serve dual purposes, deterring external threats while strengthening internal support. Now, here's where multiple perspectives come into play. Some military observers might argue this represents a concerning escalation in regional arms competition. Others might view it as a natural progression of a rising power demonstrating its capabilities. The truth, as often happens in geopolitical analysis, probably lies somewhere in between.
Consider this scenario. You're a defense planner for a neighboring country. How do you respond to this display? Do you increase your own military spending? Seek stronger alliances? Pursue diplomatic solutions? Each choice has consequences that ripple across regional stability. The timing with Putin's expected attendance adds another dimension. From a strategic alliance standpoint, this suggests coordination between two major powers that have, at various times, been at odds with Western nations. Military observers might argue that we're witnessing the public face of deeper military cooperation agreements. So, where does this leave us, guys? Based on available information, this parade represents more than just a historical commemoration. It's a snapshot of how modern military power is being redefined in real time. We're looking at weapon systems that compress reaction times, expand operational ranges, and challenge traditional defense strategies. From a tactical standpoint, this suggests that future conflicts might be decided not by who has the most troops or the biggest ships, but by who has the fastest, most precise, and most technologically integrated systems. The hypersonic weapons, advanced drones, and early warning aircraft on display represent different pieces of what military theorists call multi-domain operations, the ability to fight simultaneously across land, sea, air, space, and cyber domains. But here's what really keeps defense analysts awake at night. We're not just looking at current capabilities, we're getting a glimpse of where military technology is heading. Every system displayed in this parade represents years of research, development, and testing. The question isn't just, what can these weapons do now, but what will the next generation look like? Military observers might argue that parades like this serve as informal arms control negotiations. By showing capabilities, nations can sometimes avoid the need to use them. It's a way of updating the global strategic balance sheet without firing a shot. Think about it this way. Imagine you're a military strategist trying to plan for potential conflicts 5 years from now. This parade is giving you a preview of what might be possible, but it's also raising questions about what we're not seeing. What capabilities are being kept secret? what technologies are still in development. The broader implications extend far beyond military hardware. We're talking about shifts in global manufacturing capabilities, technological innovation, and economic power that enable these military developments. Countries don't just wake up one day with hypersonic weapons. They require decades of scientific advancement, industrial capacity, and economic resources to develop. From a geopolitical perspective, events like this contribute to what international relations experts call security dilemmas. When one nation increases its military capabilities, even for defensive purposes, it can make other nations feel less secure, potentially triggering their own military buildups. It's a complex cycle that has shaped international relations for centuries. But here's the thing that makes this different from historical precedents. We're living in an era where military technologies are advancing faster than the diplomatic frameworks designed to manage them. The weapons being displayed in Beijing represent capabilities that didn't exist when current international agreements were written. So here's what I want to know from you guys. Are we witnessing a natural evolution of military technology, or are we seeing the opening moves of a new kind of arms race? How should other nations respond to displays of advanced military capability like this? Think about it from different angles. If you were advising a small nation concerned about regional stability, what would you recommend? If you were a defense contractor seeing these technologies, how might that influence your research priorities? If you were a diplomat trying to maintain international stability, how would you approach these developments? The reality is, military observers can analyze capabilities and make educated assessments, but the ultimate impact of these weapon systems depends on how they're integrated into broader strategic doctrines and diplomatic approaches. History shows us that having advanced weapons doesn't automatically translate to strategic success. It's how you use them, or more importantly, how credibly you can threaten to use them, that matters. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you more concerned about the military implications, the diplomatic consequences, or the technological precedents being set? And don't forget to subscribe, because as these global dynamics continue evolving, we'll be breaking down every major development with the tactical and strategic analysis you won't find anywhere else. Remember, understanding these developments isn't just about military hardware. It's about understanding the forces shaping our world. Whether you're interested in technology, geopolitics, or just trying to make sense of global events, these are the stories that define our time. What aspect of this parade interests you most? Let me know, and maybe it'll be the focus of our next deep dive.